And welcome to this presentation about reporting unit service projects and service hours. This presentation is geared mainly towards units in the Cherokee Area Council, but by and large, the information here will apply to any unit in Boy Scouts of America. The current problem is that many of our units are not sure about the proper way to input their service hours to get credit for the service they perform to count for their unit towards the journey to excellence. Service hours are important to report for several reasons. First, service hours are an important part of the Journey to Excellence scores for units, districts, and even the council. Individual Scout at the Boy Scout level advancement requires service areas at each level, and properly documenting service hours means that your Scouts and your unit receives the proper credit for all the hard work that you're doing. Currently, Cub Scout programs do not have a specific requirement for service hours for individual ranks or units. However, it's greatly encouraged to emphasize this important concept and how it relates to the overall scouting experience, community involvement, and the development of each Cub Scout. At the Boy Scout level, there are individual requirements for each boy for advancement at each rank level. This is why it's important that the boys are counting their service hours toward their advancement, as well as the unit counting it as the unit service hours, which will count for the unit JTE. For this reason, it's important that not only do units have an individual who is specifically responsible for somehow recording and documenting each boy's individual advancement service hours, whether that's through signing off in their Boy Scout handbook or entering that information in Troop Master or Scout Book or whatever software you're using. However units want to handle that, there should be someone that each boy knows, this is the person that I take my service hours to, so they recorded for my advancement. Usually that person is the same person who's documenting things like merit badges, when they teach skills using the EDGE method and so on. However, the website for recording the service hours that will count for the unit is a separate website from Scout Book or Troop Master or whatever else. And so it's important that there's a separate individual, maybe a committee member or someone in the troop or in the unit whose primary responsibility is to enter the unit service hours. Each unit should establish some sort of procedure that works best for them. They might keep a log notebook. They might use some kind of form similar to a blue card. Some way that each scout knows I turn in information about my service hours for this project to this individual, and that individual then is responsible for entering all of the service hours for the unit. So when you have that special person, it is time for them to report service hours, and they can begin by logging on either at my.scouting.org using their my.scouting.org login and password, and then clicking on the link for service hours reporting. Or you can simply go directly to servicehours.scouting.org. That's the direct link. If you go to my.scouting.org, you'll open up with the home screen there, and you would click the menu button here and go down to the service hours reporting and click that link. If you entered the URL directly, you would go straight to the service hours website. If you've used the service hours website before, you've already been given a user ID and password that you will use for the service hours page. It's important to recognize this service hours login and password is different from the my.scouting.org user ID and password. It's different than the login information that you might use on Scout Book, Troop Master, or any other program like that. It's unique to the service hours website. When you arrive at the service hours website, here's the login screen. You'd enter your username or password. If it's your first time, you'll need to get a username and password. So you will click New Users, click here. And following that, you will open a screen with a confidentiality statement. If you're a new user, you read this confidentiality statement carefully, and if you agree, you click I agree to continue. Also, if this is the first time that you're using the service hours reporting page on this website, you must enter the information about your unit so that the hours will be reported correctly for your unit. You do this by entering a unit ID or local unit number, and that's different than simply your troop or pack number. If you do not have this number, you should obtain it by contacting your local unit executive or your local council. Now, in the Cherokee Area Council, there's at least twice a year that units receive this number. One is at the recharter at the beginning of each calendar year, and the second is in the fall during the program kickoff. Once you enter your unit number, enter that information about your unit, you'll create a new password. This is the screen where you enter your unit ID, the type, the local unit number, which is your pack and or troop number or crew number, and then you enter your information and you obtain a password. Once you register your unit, you'll return to the login page, and here you'll use that new username and password that you just registered. So you just go back and enter that new username and password. On the following screen, you have to make a choice. You can view the previously recorded projects for your unit, or you can report a new service project, or you can report an Eagle Scout service project. In the Cherokee Area Council, the only person that should report an Eagle Scout service project is the Eagle Scout when they have completed their project and their information has been turned into the council. Unless you are an Eagle Scout and unless you are recording the information about your own service project, no one else should report an Eagle Scout service project. All other unit projects, including individual Scout hours, conservation projects, any type of project that you engage in as a unit that's not the Eagle Scout project, you will click to report a service project. And you do that by clicking right here where it says, would you like to report a service project? On the next screen, you will define or select a type of service project. You can choose the category that best fits your project. If one of those descriptors doesn't fit well, you can click Other Services. The screen looks like this, and there's several different options that you could pick, and you could always pick Other if nothing seems to fit. You enter the information about the service project on the following screen. You will need to know the date of the project, the number of youth and the number of adults participating, the total number of unit hours, and any partnering organizations you worked with. You will also enter a brief description of the project. This description should be simple and not complicated, and following are two examples. In this example, there was a service project, and enters the date, the number of youth, the number of adults, and the total number of hours. You pick here if there was a partner, and in this case, the partner was an other, and so it's listed. And then a simple description of trail cleanup and repair of trail damage caused by constructions of fire breaks. That's really all the information you need to enter here. Here's another example. Enters the date, the number of youth, the number of adults, the total number of hours, the partner, and then briefly tells the description. Under the direction of the state park ranger, repaired and reconstructed a flagpole area at Savage Gulf Ranger Golf Station, enhancing water flow and reducing runoff damage. And then you submit. Again, these do not have to be very complicated, just brief descriptions of exactly what the project entailed. In the next screen, you verify that the information that you enter is correct. This is important because once you submit the service project, there's no way to go back and edit it. You click when you're confident that it's correct to submit it, and on the following screen, you can print out a certificate or choose to record another project. So here's the screen, the confirmation screen. It says, congratulations, your project has been recorded. You can click here to print the certificate, or you can click here to record another service project. This is from the example we just saw a moment ago. This is what the printout looks like. It lists the number of the information that I entered on the previous screen. So the number of youth, the number of adults, and the type of project. So some tips and tricks. 1, remember to assign one adult leader, one volunteer to be the person in charge of entering and reporting service hours on the service hours website. Communicate to all members that it's important to report the service hours, the procedure for reporting it to the assigned adult. And remember, whatever procedure works best for your unit. So again, some ideas might be a recording log notebook, or a index card, or a short form that they would just turn in. Whatever system works for you, stick to it and make sure everyone knows it. Remind scouts regularly in the meetings. You want to make this a regular part of your culture in your unit, that one of the things we do is report our service hours. So remind them during the Scoutmaster Minute or at the beginning of meetings until that becomes sort of a part of the routine. You should maintain some type of notebook or file of those unit recognition certificates for reference later on. You can keep those, and that's would be actually something that you could show and share with your chartering organization or others in your community. Now, many units are involved, and this again relates to Cherokee Area Council. Many units are involved in placement of flags at the National Cemetery on Veterans Day, or on Memorial Day weekend. This is a great time to follow this example and to begin submitting your unit service hours. So if you want to count those service hours, you will need to go through and follow this procedure to submit those service hours on the reporting website. So use that as a practice example this Memorial Day. Thank you for your time. This information was prepared as a part of Wood Badge Course S6 55617 by the Buffalo Patrol. Thank you.